It is a big, big day, ladies and gentlemen. We have a new fantasy football tournament to hop in. Real quick, I just want to put this on your radar. Now, I'm an idiot. I know nothing about baseball, so I'm not going to do this at all. But Underdog launched the 7th inning stretch, which I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen. So how these Underdog tournaments work, this is a $150,000 prize pool guaranteed. So for simple math, just say only 10 people entered into that $7 tournament and there were only $70 of entries in there. Underdog would still have to pay out $150,000 of prizes no matter how many entries are in. So I know not nearly enough about baseball. I would be wasting my $7, but this may not fill. It closes on Friday. It's a $7 buy-in. $150,000 prize pool. So if you play baseball, I would at least monitor this. So the fantasy baseball second half season, there's possibly going to be an overlay, and Underdog may have to throw in $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 into the league pot. Now, of course, I'm not saying that that's for sure going to happen. That's why I'm just saying monitor it until about Friday. It closes at Friday, 3 p.m. But that's not what we are getting in today. What we are getting in today will be the Poodle 3, ladies and gentlemen. This dropped earlier today, already 7,000 entrants, 48,000 entry tournament, $300,000 prize pool. First place, 60,000. Second place, 30,000. All the way down the line. Let's go ahead and let's get in here. We're going to be doing drafts here today, tomorrow, the next day. I think this will be the tournament we hang out with in quite some time now. But thank you so much for everybody coming to hang out with us. Really, really happy to see. And I still have not asked if we were doing the Mastiff yet. I'll figure it out. Maybe we will do the Mastiff. Maybe we won't. But what we will do is pick at 12 yet again. We actually did this in the live stream yesterday. We had an Underdog draft at pick 12. And there we started Bijan Robinson, CeeDee Lamb, which is about the best you could ever ask for. Now, I'm assuming that's not happening at pick 12 in this one. I mean, the reason it happened in the last one is Michael Thomas was selected at pick 6. But Trey in here at pick 11. Jamie in at 2. FF Addict in here at 5. And then, obviously, Prod is out here with us. Duke in at 7. Thank you so much for everybody coming and hanging out with us. I really, really do appreciate y'all. Charles in here at pick 4. Hell yeah. So this is another draft full of the flock. Thank you for drafting with us, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this party started. 101 on the clock. Let's get our sparkling water going. Nothing better than sparkling water. This may or may not be like my 4th or 5th today. Just don't tell my girlfriend. She's getting on me. She's getting on me about drinking too many of these. But Logan asking, how do you get shields / badges? So if you draft 500 teams on Underdog, you get the the white and black badge. If you draft 1,000 teams on Underdog, you get the red and white badge. I'm surprised the first time in a long time I've been the only team in the draft with the red and white badge. But maybe we'll see. FF Addicts is back on water. She wants us back on water. I don't know. Sparkling water's too good for me. Now we have CMC off the board 5. Tommy Nose decides to go Kelsey at pick 6. Sadly, does not take Michael Thomas there like the draft last night. And then Luke says, Mason, who do we have in the home run derby tonight? I don't know nearly enough, so I'll ask your opinion on this in just 1 second. I know Underdog actually put out some home run derby lines to look at. So Kyle on the clock. They go Bijan Robinson. Like we said, we had Bijan Robinson, CeeDee Lamb making it to us to the 1-2 turn in the last draft. Lamb goes, so we're actually going to go wide receiver, but definitely one of these wide receivers will be Devontae Adams. I mean, it's hard to get away from that. But let's swing this back around. And of course, real quick, if you want to get in one of these drafts with us, I'm sure y'all know we talk about it every single day. This is Underdog Fantasy. This is where we are drafting every single day. We have not missed a day of live streaming since April. We'll not miss a day of live streaming until 2024. And if you want to get in a fantasy football draft with us, these are best balls, so there's no time commitment at all during the year. It's how I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 on Underdog last season. But they have pick'em lines as well for NFL. That's something that I actually go ahead and look at. But I know some people are interested in home runs. So if you are interested in home run derby, they have pick'em lines for home run derby. I just literally would be picking blind here. I know Vlad's supposed to be pretty. I'd be picking blind. If you have any insight on the home run derby there, you want to fill us in, let me know. Let me know. Okay. Austin says, thoughts on pairing Kelsey and Mahomes round 1 and 2 for weekly winner. It's the dream. If you can do that, you're in a great spot, my friend. Logan asking if we're doing a Best Ball Mania draft. We will get another draft going after this one once we hit 350 likes in the stream. But we'll honestly probably do another poodle draft just because Best Ball Mania is going to be open for the entire offseason. Whereas the poodle draft is probably going to be open for a few days. Like, I don't know how long this is going to be open. I don't know how many drafts we'll be able to get in here. Okay. Mr. Padilla says, Sup Mason, just got off work, driving around town looking for my dog. Ran away. Oh my gosh, my man. I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, good luck. Good luck, my friend. It's like my biggest nightmare. Okay, so Derrick Henry goes pick 23. No quarterback so far. I mean, no big surprises, right? Maybe you could say a big surprise is seeing Devonta Smith go before Chris Olave in this draft. Mahomes goes 24. You're seeing a lot of Justin Jefferson, Patrick Mahomes teams now. Peyton says, met Bijan Robinson at the bar on Saturday night. Was freaking out because I'm a UT alum. Oh, that's really cool, my man. It's really cool. And what is Bijan doing at a bar? Are you kidding me, my man? You should have told him, okay, I'm going to need you to go, put down the drink, and get some quality sleep, recover, and get ready for the season. That's what we're needing. That's what we're needing. Okay, so Allen, Jalen Hurts makes it to 29. So that team goes CMC, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts through the first 3 rounds. In my mind, that's pretty much the dream. That is the dream. Peyton says he was drinking Red Bull and water. No, okay, good. I mean, I'm going to a bar after this, and I'll just be drinking my sparkling water. So, I guess you could say Bijan Robinson, Mason Dodd are equivalent athletes. If you wanted to say it, I'm not going to argue against it. Okay, so Breece Hall going off the board at 31. Let's swing this back around. We have a lot of flexibility when we go Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams there at the 1-2 turn. Prod takes Lamar Jackson. We were looking at Lamar Jackson here at the 3-4 turn. Obviously, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We're not going to sit here and cry about it. Peyton says he was at Buford. I would assume that Bijan wouldn't be able to go to Buford's. I would assume he would be swarmed. I thought you were talking about like a draft a bar in Atlanta or something. Okay, so Trey on the clock. Let's see what he decides to do. Goes Najee. So we're actually going to mix it up. Go Ridley, Deebo Samuel, primarily because this will be a unique combo that not many people are able to pair up. Calvin Ridley, ADP 32. Deebo Samuel, ADP 34. So very rarely you're going to see those 2 wide receivers on the same team. Generally, I am taking Najee Harris. I am taking Travis Etienne over these wide receivers. But when we're drafting over 700 teams, not the worst thing in the world to go ahead and mix it up some. But James coming out says, hey, Mason, 14-team PPR redraft, 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, and a flex. Who you're taking at the 101. First off, my man, thank you so much for being a long time member of the vlog. Second off, I'm probably still going Justin Jefferson. Obviously, in that kind of format, you want to be pushing running backs up in comparison to wide receiver just because they're going to go off the board a little bit earlier. But, I mean, it's still so much. You're still getting such an advantage with Jefferson with this range of outcomes in comparison to Christian McCaffrey. I don't know. It's just very difficult for me to ever justify taking anybody over Justin Jefferson. Moss asking if we're going to go to any football games this year. I have not gone to a football game in person since this became my full-time job. Like, since we blew up on YouTube, and essentially, this is a quote-unquote job for us. I have not been able to go to a football game in person just because I work so much during the season. Like, our live shows, I wake up at 6 something in the morning and start live streaming from 7 all the way until NFL kickoff, which is 12. And then now we're going to be live streaming during the games as well. So sadly, I'm not able to go to any games, but that is what it is. To be honest with you, I am not too upset about it either. Like, watching an NFL game at your house, like NFL Red Zone, you can make a strong argument it's better than going to the game, you know. But the conceit, longtime member of the flock, says, hey, Mason, been loving the streams. Got a weekly winners draft at 3, starting Chase, Andrews, Lamar. So, oh my gosh, that is exciting, my man. Yeah, if you can pair up Andrews, Lamar at the 2-3 turn in that tournament contest in particular, that's awesome. Okay. So now we have Joe Mixon off the board, 49. Let me know in the live chat. Can everybody spam the chat for us? Is there anybody else that agrees with me that would rather watch NFL Red Zone than go to a game in person? Maybe if it's like a playoff game, obviously that's different. I'm talking about a regular game that kicks off on noon on a Sunday. But let me know. Adam says, if you prefer watching a game from your couch, you've clearly never been to Arrowhead. I mean, I was in Kansas City for the NFL draft, my man. It depends. I agree unless it's your team. Yeah, and I don't have an NFL team, so that's the thing. Red zone. I agree. Depends on the seats. So Texas, y'all know I'm a Texas alum or alumni. I don't know what you call it. But if you look at the Longhorns schedule now that we're going to the SEC in 2024, it looks nuts. Like, we play Georgia at home in 2024. We play Texas A&M. So I'll probably go to a Texas Longhorn game once we are in the SEC. But that's on Saturday. So NFL games are just way tougher for me, right? I can't even do Thursday night because as soon as the game ends, I go live, you know. And people are expecting me to hit go live the second that the game finishes. So yeah, sadly, I'm not able to go to games pretty much. Okay, Aaron Jones off the board, 58. Definitely sucks for us. We'd been excited about getting Aaron Jones there. Okay. Trey McKinnon, I believe that's how you say this name on the clock, as Najee Harris, Jahmyr Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle. Goes Miles Sanders. I think we're going to take the combination of Alexander Madison. And y'all know I'm not drafting Alexander Madison in Best Ball Mania, but that's because in Best Ball Mania, a lot of teams were able to draft Alexander Madison back in April in round 9. Here in the Poodle 3, nobody's going to have that kind of value on Alexander Madison, so completely fine taking him at ADP. And we're going to go George Kittle as well, primarily because, hell, we'll set ourselves up with the Trey Lance stack later on. You better believe we're still taking our guy Trey Lance, and we're looking for that stack. And we had some Trey Lance news. Now, keep in mind, this is from a Twitter account that has no validity, that has no credibility, that is pretty much nothing. But at the same time, when they speak positively about Trey Lance, I listen. Okay? If you are Adam Schefter and you say, yeah, Trey Lance is a backup, nobody wants him, blah, blah, blah. In one ear, out the other ear. I'm not paying attention. I'm not listening to it. I don't care. But if you are NFL rumors on Twitter, all of a sudden, I'm listening. 49ers like Trey Lance more right now than any time with this tenure during the team. Like I said, Rappaport, Adam Schefter, they can speak some nonsense. They can talk down and spew the anti-Trey Lance propaganda. While y'all listen to those unreliable sources, I'll stick with the true knowledge. And we'll stick with NFL rumors, who clearly has his ear to the ground and knows what's going on. Okay. Now, let's move this over. Any surprising picks? Michael Pittman falling to pick 68 is pretty big. Yeah, that team there, pick 5, I love. I mean, personally, I'd probably go like Chris Godwin over Diontae Johnson. But that team at 5 that gets to start off CMC, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, and then pair up Jalen Hurts with Dallas Goedert round 7. That team at 5 is just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's bring this back around. George Pickens off 79. I definitely would have taken Pickens if he would have made it to us. Rashad White goes, I'm assuming that this team takes Quentin Johnson. Yeah, they had Justin Herbert essentially locked and loaded into Quentin Johnson there. Okay, let's move this around. Darren Waller off the board. Brandon Cooks goes. So I think we're going to go ahead and take Isaiah Pacheco as well as James Conner here. I think you can make an argument for Deshaun Watson and Elijah Moore if you really wanted the Cleveland stack, but I really like the running back value in this range in comparison to what you have at wide receiver. If we were playing in Best Ball Mania, I would actually probably make Dalvin Cook one of these selections, but the reason being is in Best Ball Mania, a lot of teams took Dalvin Cook round 4, round 5. So if I could get that ADP value and get Dalvin around 8, it would be a little added bonus. But here, that dynamic doesn't really exist, right? It's very similar to what we were talking about with Alexander Madison. Okay. Now, Rashad Bateman goes off the board at 86. Javonte Williams goes. So obviously you have the good news with Javonte Williams. Someone I've drafted a lot of, someone that I definitely will be rooting for a fast recovery this next season. Big 87, honestly, this is kind of about where I think he belongs in terms of the risk-reward ratio that you're getting with Javonte. I don't necessarily want to say that he's great value here and blah, blah, blah. However, like, it seems more reasonable to have Javonte Williams going off the board at the beginning of round 8 rather than the middle of round 9. At least in my mind, Okay. Tua goes. Let's see. Quarterbacks that we are looking at. I mean, we could, if we needed to, go ahead, take Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. I mean, I'm sorry. I got lost. We could take Garrett Wilson, Rodgers. I don't know if we're excited to do that. Mason asking, bouncing back and forth between CMC and Jefferson at pick. In my mind, you have to go Justin Jefferson at 1 regardless of format. Literally regardless of your format, given the overall security as well as ceiling that we have from Justin Jefferson, in my mind, he's the no-brainer number 1 selection. Like, would you be surprised if Justin Jefferson went out there and posted a top 3 wide receiver season of all time? I don't think so. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Jefferson turns into the best wide receiver ever. Like, this past year, he put up the best wide receiver season of all time for a 23-year-old. Now stepping into his prime. I don't know. I'm excited. Okay. Now, Kamara goes 103. OG1 Kenobi says, do you think correlation is more or less important in the weeklies versus Best Ball Mania? I think that, honestly, correlating your roster is very important regardless of the tournament or regardless of the format you're playing in. Okay, so Dak Prescott is someone that we can take if we wanted to go ahead and grab Michael Gallup a little later on. We could also go Ferguson as a tight end 2 here. Pat Freiermuth, David Njoku, both off the board. Okay, Dak Prescott goes to the CeeDee Lamb team as expected. We're definitely going to take Anthony Richardson with some rushing upside here. I think we're actually probably going to take Brian Robinson as well. Just in general, I love the Brian Robinson price point. Like, there's not too much to discuss. This is a running back that had over 200 carries as a rookie, and now we're getting him in round 10 going into year 2 when there's been no added in competition. The only thing that's happened to that backfield in Washington is a running back left. So you have less competition. You saw 200 total touches last year, and we're getting a second-year RB in round 2. I'm sorry, in round 10. Now, wide receiver, we have Garrett Wilson, Avonte Adams, Calvin Ridley, Deebo Samuel. Running back, we have Alexander Madison, Isaiah Pacheco, James Conner, Brian Robinson. Tight end, we have George Kittle. Quarterback, we have Anthony Richardson. Brandon says, do you ever do slow drafts? I honestly don't like slow drafts. Like, whenever I was in college and I was just obsessed with Dynasty Fantasy Football. Like, I still love Dynasty, but I'm talking obsessed. It was the only thing that I thought about from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep. There was nothing better for me than a Dynasty slow draft because I could just sit there and refresh the Dynasty startup draft every single 5 minutes, send out 1 million trades a day, and just be obsessed with it, and it consumed like an entire month. Now, I honestly have too much going on where if I have time for a fantasy football draft, I will hop in an underdog draft and I will get through it in about 40, 45 minutes. That's about how long these underdog drafts take. But the days of me wanting to be in like a bunch of slow drafts and every single time I go to my phone, I have 10 picks I need to make. I don't like that as much. I don't know. Maybe I got burnt out of it, but I'm not a big slow draft guy. I love the live drafts. I mean, Underdog having the 30-second pick timer, in my mind, is literally perfect. Okay. Jacoby Myers off the board. Devon Achane goes 119. Chief Matt says, are we considering this a zero RB team? I believe the true definition of a zero RB team is no running backs for the first 5 rounds. We take Alexander Madison there at the 5-6 turn. So I don't think this qualifies as a true quote unquote zero RB team. Now this team is Jefferson at pick 1. You have Kirk Cousins making about 11 picks past ADP. Going to be interested to see if they take Kirk Cousins here. And they decide not to. They decide to take Khalil Herbert instead. And let's see, where's the Hawkinson team? Where's the Addison team? How far can you have Kirk Cousins fall here? Where's Hawkinson and where's Addison? I don't see these guys. Okay, Hawkinson went here, pick 55. So I'd be very surprised if Cousins made it past pick 127. The Addison team decided to pass on Cousins at 122 as well in favor of Elijah Mitchell. Okay, you have a bunch of QBs falling down the board. If Cousins, Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers, now at this point all past ADP. Second year tight end in Tennessee goes. Jimmy asking if flockfantasy.com has Superflex rankings. We have Superflex Dynasty rankings. I don't think we're going to do like just 2023 Superflex rankings. I think the 2023 rankings will just be 1 QB, my friend. But yeah, we have Superflex Dynasty rankings. And in my mind, maybe I'm wrong with this, but I think the best way to play is Superflex Dynasty, 1 quarterback redraft. Let me know what y'all think. I just really prefer Superflex Dynasty, 1 quarterback redraft. Okay. Now, what are we going to do with this pick here? Rondale Moore goes. We're going to take Rodgers to pair up with Garrett Wilson. I still think we could take Lance round 18 if we really wanted to pair up with Deebo and George Kittle. The question is, do we go Kincaid, Jalen Warren, or possibly a wide receiver? Let's look at what we'll have on the way back around. Gallup in this range, not too compelling for me. Tight ends on the way back around won't be either. We'll go ahead and we'll take Dalton Kincaid, essentially locking up that we'll only have to draft 2 tight ends with this team. So now super balanced, like symmetrical roster. And we have 4 wide receivers, We have 4 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends. Our wide receivers are Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Calvin Ridley, Deebo Samuel. Our running backs are Alexander Madison, Isaiah Pacheco, James Conner, Brian Robinson. Our tight ends are George Kittle, Dalton Kincaid. And our quarterbacks are Anthony Richardson, Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Austin says Rodgers here is risky. I think we get Rodgers 11 picks past ADP, so if there's a place that's less risk, I mean, I don't want to say Rodgers super risky if we're taking him significantly past ADP. I don't know. Ghost says you love Kincaid. I don't know. I take a lot of Kincaid, it seems like, for sure. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Let's move this down. We have Osborne, Adam Thielen, Michael Gallup all off the board. This point, what we're wanting to see is QB tight end get drafted. Like, we still need wide receivers to make it back. While we went 4 wide receivers out the gate, we have not taken a wide receiver since round 4. So, we need wide receivers on the way back around. Craig says, this is a great team for the 12th pick. Thank you, my friend. I'll definitely say the team we had yesterday on the live stream was better than this one. That's for sure, but nonetheless. And real quick, we're about to hit 350 likes on this live stream. If you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream. If we hit 350 likes, we'll fire up another draft after this one. And of course, if you want to get in our next draft, these are on Underdog. This is the same place where you have all the player props. We don't need to see the home run derby player props. You can see some NFL ones here instead. And if you go sign up to Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings as well as a free trial to flockfantasy.com as well. Okay. Let's move this down. Taysom Hill, 148. Now, Derek Carr, not really in play for us, right? I mean, hell, if we take a third quarterback, I think we can get away with it if we wait until the very end of the draft. But here, probably not the best idea. Also, we don't have Kamara. We don't have Thomas. We don't have Olave. I don't want to take Juwan Johnson. We don't have Shaheed. If Komet makes it to us, I'm going to be a little upset. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, this team, Cosmos, already has 3 QBs. They went Herbert, Watson, Goff. Really heavy on the quarterback position there. Singletary goes 153. Everett off. Trey on the clock. 3 running backs, Najee, Gibbs, Sanders. I guess you could go Shaheed. Jerome Ford off the board. We're going to go ahead. I think we're just going to take a couple wide receivers here and DJ Chark, Marvin Mims, some guys that can access some spike week potential. I mean, if you're looking at Chark, what is interesting is the projections this next season. So these player props on Underdog have DJ Chark sitting at 700 receiving yards. Elijah Moore's at 515 in comparison. Zay Flowers at 600 for comparison. Sky Moore, 550. Rashad Bateman, 600. Quentin Johnston, 600. I don't think this is a crazy line for Chark either. If he does score points, it'll probably be in bulk because he is that deep threat wide receiver, so he's perfect for the best ball format in my mind. So I like Chark. I like Chark. But real quick, we have a donation coming out from Duke. Thank you so much. My man says, how do you like Team 7? Let's dive through this. Going Stephon Diggs, Devonta Smith out the gate. Personally, I like Olave over Smith, but I mean, regardless, that's just my personal preference. I mean, hell, my personal preference is probably Barkley over both. But then Breece Hall, 31, ETN, 42. Love the Travis Etienne value. Love the Hawkinson value. Lawrence 66 is a little interesting with actually, no, we have ETN. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Ignore me. Pickens 79, great value. Dalvin 90, great value. Kamara is an upside shot. Lazard, pretty good value here. Cousins to pair it with Hawkinson at an incredible value. I love this team, my man. The only thing I possibly would have changed is maybe I decide to go like Saquon Barkley over Devonta Smith, and then there will unlock us like to pass on Alvin Kamara here in the 9th for a tight end like Frymuth. But love the team. You get some incredible values. Okay. Winger's asking, what's the roster format in best ball? 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, and a flex. Yes, sir. That is the format. It's also going to be half PPR. And of course, just in case someone is in here, doesn't understand how best ball is no time commitment during the year, you don't submit your starting lineup. The highest automatic starting lineup is going to be submitted for you at the end of every week. So for example, with this team, when we have Anthony Richardson, Aaron Rodgers, I don't have to sit there before the week and go, okay, what quarterback's going to have the better matchup? Who's going to score more points and then guess on that front? No, it's just at the end of the week, whoever scored more points, Underdog puts them into my starting lineup, and they do that across your entire lineup. How I drafted 700 teams, won 150,000 last year, but that's why it's not meant to replace your main fantasy football league. Like, this is fun on the side. If you love drafting, you're going to love this, but it's not meant to replace like your regular fantasy football league with your buddies. Okay. Austin asking if we hit max entries for each tournament. I haven't come close to max entries for any tournament on Underdog this year. I think the only tournament we maxed last year as well was Best Ball Mania. Generally, I don't max tournaments. Like, it's not like a tournament drops and I'm like, okay, all of a sudden I'm going to draft way more today than I do the next day. I draft about the same amount of teams every day. Okay, now Ezekiel Elliott goes off the board 171. Kyler Murray 172. Definitely going to be a team where we decide to go ahead and take 6 running backs. My first thought with this team is I think we're probably going to go 3 QBs, 6 running backs, 7 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends. We'll see what makes it to us. Obviously, if like the value is elsewhere, we can always change, but we'll see. Luke says, lies, he maxed out the... I'm not counting that, my man. Yes, we maxed out the $100 Dalmatian. That was a 3 max entry. I'm talking about like the tournaments that are like 150 max entries. 100 max entries, you know. The 3 max entry tournament, yes, I drafted 3 times there. Okay. Now, Paris Campbell off the board 176. I don't want to say too much because the people here are watching this live stream as well. Kyle on the clock took 3 tight ends, which is interesting. He goes Tim Patrick. I actually would have taken Tim Patrick if he would have made it to us. Having Marvin Mims, I would have liked that built in. Let's see what Trey decides to do. He has 1 tight end in Dawson Knox. I don't know if he's going to go with the 3 tight end build. He takes Edwards. We're definitely going to grab Mostert here just off the off chance that Dalvin Cook doesn't go over to Miami. Do we go? Oh, you know what? I actually don't mind at all. If you're taking Raheem Mostert, you're making the bet that Miami doesn't bring in another running back, which is an extremely risky bet. And I was laughing at people for making that bet when Mostert and Jeff Wilson were going 3 to 4 rounds earlier than this. But if we're able to grab these 2 guys at the very end of the draft and then Miami doesn't sign a running back, I actually like the idea of both of these guys then hitting at that point. Now, obviously, what's most likely going to happen is Miami is most likely signing a running back. And this team's most likely not going to be any good for that reason. But at the same time, what I would say is it is a $7 buy-in, $60,000 for first place. So we're going ahead and we are drafting as if everything's going to go right. And if that one action doesn't happen, I think both those guys could hit. So I like the gamble at the new price that they're at. But now we're done drafting running backs. What most people would have done at that pick, just to let you know, is most people would have gone ahead and taken Brock Purdy to double stack with George Kittle as well as Deebo Samuel. But like I said, I'm not listening to Adam Schefter. I'm not listening to Ian Rappaport. Instead, I'm listening to NFL rumors on Twitter where they say the team likes Lance. So I will be blind to the smart people talking, and I will take Trey Lance here at the 17-18 turn instead. Okay. Let's move this over. Rock Bottom asking why some people have hats on their dogs. Yeah, so if you look like Big Micro Plays here or Prod having a hat on their dog, I believe what you have to do is you have to win a weekly tournament called the Battle Royale on Underdog. Like a Battle Royale is every week during the season. Underdog has tournaments. It's like a DFS style thing. I believe that's what it is. I don't do a lot of the week-to-week tournaments. Okay, so Mac Jones goes 191. Okay, let's move this over. Purdy's still available. Looks like people are worried about NFL rumors out here coming through and saying Lance is the guy. Okay, Gesicki falling, Conklin falling. What if we go through a hypothetical, say Lance were to get drafted, Tyler Conklin doesn't? Maybe we could pivot and take a third tight end and get the Tyler Conklin, Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers double stack there. You know what? I have my phone on me. I can draft the last two picks on my phone. I'll let y'all know who we draft. I don't think y'all care too much to see those last few picks. But we're going to go ahead. We're just going to hop in the Poodle 3 again. It's going to be the draft tournament that we are in over the next few days. Just in case you didn't see, this is the $7 buy-in, $300,000 prize pool, $60,000 for first, $30,000 for second, all the way down the line. And we're going to be at pick 5 here. So let's go ahead and let's get us set up. Maybe do we start mixing in some CMC at 5? We're going to do it. Y'all know primarily I've taken Stephon Diggs there at 5 a lot. But at the same time, there's a chance CMC just comes out and crushes us, right? If we have none of them. Generally, we've been waiting to see if CMC makes it to us to like pick 7. We generally take him, but maybe we mix him in a bit here. Okay, butts. Few says, my favorite spot is pick 5. Ooh, hopefully we're able to do this well, my man. RM says, in at pick 12. Love to see it. Johnny says, we're right next to you at pick 4. Love to see it. Trility says, can I ask why you're always in a suit? Not being rude, just genuinely curious. So here's what we do. In these drafts, obviously preparing, going through and doing research on roster construction, offenses you want to target, players that you like, all of that stuff is very important, right? But at the end of the day, you need to step into a draft room and you need to be able to beat 11 other owners. So as I step in here, as I get ready, we throw on the suit to intimidate the 11 other drafters, okay? Like, I mean, hell, if you go ahead and ask RM that's in this draft with us at pick 12, I bet you he's shaking like a leaf, okay? He's probably extremely nervous because we're wearing this suit. He's terrified, all right? We haven't frazzled. That's how we won the tournaments on Underdog last year. It's the suit and the suit alone. Okay. The other draft, we took Lance over Brock Purdy in the 17th round, and then grabbed McCole Hardman as an 18th round pick to pair up with Rodgers. Okay. Now, Weston coming out of the donation. Thank you, my friend. Says, hey, Mason, happy PR. I have the 6th pick in a double flex league. Who do you take between Bijan, Tyreek, Kelsey, etc. if none of the top 5 fall? Thank you. No, thank you so much, my man. I'd say in a double flex league, I'm honestly probably just going to take Tyreek. But I don't know. I go Tyreek. If you think that you're going to be able to find phenomenal wide receiver values, like I know in some like ESPN drafts, Olave is going in the 4th. If you think you're going to be able to get that, then you probably pivot to Bijan. But let me see. Angel says, I'm shaking like a stripper. Exactly. Ryan says, Mason, I'm going to draft with you at the 101. Well, good luck, Ryan. And I'm sure you're scared as hell because of this suit. I know it. Duke says, I'm shirtless right now, shaking, having total anxiety last draft because of the super. It's what I'm talking about. Y'all. More people should take notes. More people should listen. And maybe more people would win fantasy football tournaments. All right. David says, I'd wear my daddy's like, you know what I should do one day? One day I should show up to the live stream shirtless, just with khakis on. Waist down, professional. I got dress shoes, have professional pants, dress pants, and party above the waist. Mix it up a little bit. Okay. Ryan in here at pick 7. Love to see it. Okay. Now, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Adams go there, pick 13, 14. Nothing too crazy that happens here. You have Antler Ice taking Kelsey off the board at pick 8. Yeah, out here with us. Love to see you, my man. Love to see you. Chris says, I'm suited up, just spectating. Love to hear it. Okay. Now, Nick Chubb goes 16. Swing this back around. And holy crap, we have almost 700 people watching right now. It is just, you know why? You know why? I'm not joking. It's a Trey Lance report we got earlier. People are going, oh my gosh, Mason, maybe this guy Mason's onto something with Trey Lance. Maybe we should listen up. And you should, all right? So if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. If you have not done so, subscribe to the channel. We live stream every single day. Not going to miss a single day of live streaming until 2024. Nobody else can say that. And of course, if you want to get in our next Underdog draft, which we are doing every single day on the live stream, it's best ball, so no time committed all during the year. Link in the live chat, description, comment section. Promo code FLOCK, 100% of positive match. Plus our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And maybe, just maybe, you'll win multiple high stakes tournaments this year and win $150,000. But in reality, you're not going to. There's only one person on this planet who's won multiple high stakes tournaments the same year on Underdog. Or I think total ever. And you're not beating him when he's wearing a suit. I'll tell you that much. All right. Now we have Jalen Hurts off the board 25. With Jalen Hurts going 25, it does suck for us, right? That's the only reason I take Devonta Smith is so we can get the ability to take Jalen Hurts there at the beginning of round 3. Generally, if Jalen Hurts is already off the board, I'm actually going to go ahead and instead I'm going to take T. Higgins over Smith. But it is what it is. I mean, it's not like you can have Jalen Hurts making a past ADP in every single draft that you're in. Now, Rex Thunder goes Ramondre Stevenson off the board 27. Very rarely are you seeing Breece Hall go this early anymore. I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all to see Breece Hall go that early. Now, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Josh Allen at pick 29. So we essentially, we're guaranteed to, I don't want to say guaranteed, right? But we're pretty likely that we are going to be able to go ahead and grab an elite level quarterback there with our 3rd round pick. Just taking Smith, we are just hoping, maybe making that bet that it was Hurts, not Allen. But I'm not going to sit here and cry about taking Josh Allen at pick 29. I mean, hell, Josh Allen has a crap ton of upside. Okay. Trility says, do you watch college football as well or just the NFL? So what's your team? So during the season, 99.999% of my focus is on the NFL. Like, I mean, my entire livelihood is determined how close can we follow the NFL and try to predict what's going to happen the next week. That's everything during the year. Obviously, during the offseason, that's when we pivot over and we look at all the prospects coming from college to the NFL during the offseason. My livelihood is based on how can we figure out which guy in this NFL, which wide receiver in this NFL draft is going to be good and which one's going to be bad. So during the year, I don't watch a lot of college football. I will watch a little bit of my Texas Longhorns. Hugga Morris graduated from Texas. But I am the worst fair weather fan you will have ever met. The second we lose to Texas Tech, the second that we have a bad loss, I'm out. I say deuces. I can't handle it, and I just go back to the NFL. So I'll be the first person to admit I don't have an NFL team that I root for. I'm not a fan of really any sports teams. I'm going to be rooting for Austin FC more now that they're like our only professional team in Austin. But I am a horrible fan. Horrible fan. Oh. Craig says, when are you going to do the video reviewing last year's winning draft? So yeah, last year we won the big dog for 100,000. We won the Bulldog 2 for 20,000. Got Basketball Mania 16th place for 10,000. I'm going to review all of those drafts. And we actually did. We won the $100,000 on a live stream, like just like this, what you're watching. We drafted that team on a live stream. And the one that we won, the $20,000, I actually broke that team down in a video as soon as we drafted it. So we're going to review all that stuff probably early August. I'll say August. We will. OG1 Kenobi says, how's the Ironman training going? Pretty good. Today I ran 7.5 miles, swam. I don't know how long I swam. I told myself I was going to swim an hour. I swam 45 minutes and was starving, and I chickened out and went home. But it is what it is. We'll get them tomorrow. And also found out what bike I'm going to get. So that's exciting. My bank account's not excited about it, but I am. Now, Antler Ice decides to go ahead and take Terry McLaurin here. Not a bad thing at all for us, obviously, for running back falls when we're sitting here with Allen, Hill, Smith through the first 3 rounds. But we'll see. Rye Dog Co. on the clock. Took Diggs, Waddle, Jacobs. Goes Travis Etienne at pick 42. Etienne's my guy. Y'all know that. But it is what it is. Ryan says, what was the Trey Lance news? So we actually got official confirmation today that Trey Lance is the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the source of said news came from my dreams last night, but nonetheless, one of these days it will happen, okay? I had a vision. That's what it was. I'm just joking. NFL Rumors, an account that has zero credibility that nobody should listen to, tweeted out that the 49ers like Trey Lance more than they ever have. So no real news. Still, last thing we have with Lance is Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport coming to spew their anti-Trey Lance propaganda all over the place. Talking up the Brock Purdy book for God knows what reason. But we'll see. Now, this is kind of the issue taking Josh Allen in the middle of round 3, right? It's like, okay, if Burrow makes it to us at pick 53, Fields makes it to us at pick 53. They're great values, but I can't take them. We have Josh Allen. So it is what it is. Jamie says Trey Lance to the Raiders soon. Don't worry. If Lance is the starting quarterback for the Raiders, I mean, hell, he is a league winner in round 18. Based off his rushing upside, he is a true league winner at that point. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Kenneth Walker. We're not going to think about this too much. I mean, with Kenneth Walker, obviously, sucks that Zach Charbonnet comes over. Zach Charbonnet is probably going to see a pretty large role, specifically as a pass catcher. But nonetheless, I mean, this is a running back that if Zach Charbonnet was not drafted, he'd be going up there next like Ramondre Stevenson, Breece Hall at the 2-3 turn. So, I mean, you are getting the discount baked into his price here. Like, if y'all remember, he was going at the end of the 3rd, the beginning of the 4th, when these underdog contests first launched. There was not drafting them all. And we said what he would need is to fall about 2 rounds to the 5th round. He's fallen there. So now I said I would draft him then, and we'll draft him now. Okay. But Mike says taking all the Walker at his ADP. Yeah. I mean, I just really like it. I'm not taking Aaron Jones really at all. I don't know if y'all had a chance to watch the video that we made talking about like the older running backs and looking historically at the prototypes that may continue to produce versus the guys that may see the fall off. I'm not a big Aaron Jones guy in this range. Completely fine if you want to go ahead and take Joe Mixon. But out of the running backs here in round 5, generally Kenneth Walker's kind of like my favorite guy at this point at cost, of course. Okay. Tesla says, let's get these likes up for a 3rd draft, boys. Yes, if we hit 600 likes, we'll fire up another draft after this one, ladies and gentlemen. And real quick, let me see what Underdog actually has for the player props of the running backs in this range. It could be interesting. They have Kenneth Walker for 1,000 rushing yards and about 8 total touchdowns. They have Aaron Jones for about 900 rushing yards. Keep in mind, Aaron Jones is going to be a much better pass catcher than Kenneth Walker, so Aaron Jones can still be a much better player than Walker, even if he doesn't have as many rushing yards. And then Joe Mixon's only at 800 rushing yards, but Mixon probably has a little more touchdown upside based off the offense that he's playing in, as well as the fact that Mixon's going to be involved more as a pass catcher than Walker will be as well. Okay. Now we have Jason off the board there at pick 62. I'm excited about this team. We're going to make this work. We're going to make this work, ladies and gentlemen. George Kittle goes. Hollywood Brown off the board as well. Cheese Curl says, who's the one big sleeper people don't know about? Yeah, so there is one guy that I actually have the personal connection to him. His agent is my agent, and I've been talking a lot about the situation with his team, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people think that he is the backup running back on his team right now, but he is actually the starter, but it's hush-hush. I've been taking him a lot in the 18th round of these drafts when people aren't looking. Like, that's why we always, in the live stream a little early, I'm going to reveal who it is when we hit 1 million subscribers. So yeah, that one big sleeper that I'm keeping a secret from everybody will be revealed at 1 million subscribers. Work your magic. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Alexander Mattison. I mean, Best Ball Mania, like we said, Mattison, not too exciting. But that's because he was going in round 9 of a lot of Best Ball Mania drafts. Here, a little bit of a different situation. I mean, here we're going to be taking him after most other teams in this tournament. So I'll be fine going ahead, taking Alexander Mattison. Probably going to have to take Gabe Davis on the way back around to pick 77, right? Okay. Versus Edit says, you ain't hitting 1 million anytime soon. Well, my man, you ain't getting the number one sleeper I've been hiding from everybody anytime soon with that attitude, all right? All right. I was thinking we were hitting 1 million subscribers tomorrow. Hell, we have 700 people watching this right now, my friend. How you telling me we ain't hitting 1 million? We only need 999.3 thousand left. We're close. All right. Now, Goddard off the board at 62. So, honestly, probably good for Goddard to go because we kind of need to take Gabe Davis whenever we have Josh Allen here and no Stephon Diggs. And y'all know my monkey brain. The second I see Dallas Goedert available in the middle of the 7th round, I just automatically draft Dallas Goedert and I can't help myself. So, Chief Matt says shirtless stream to 1 million. Oh, yeah. If we hit 1 million subscribers on the channel, if we hit 1 million, I don't know. I do something crazy. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Gabe Davis. I'm going to make a strong argument that George Pickens is a better option than Gabe Davis, but it is what it is when we have Allen. I mean, we're essentially saying that we're going to get a massive spike week whenever we need it from this Buffalo Bills offense to win the $60,000 in this tournament. So if that happens, it kind of has to happen from one of these wide receivers, and Gabe Davis is in play for it. Okay. Margaret says, shave your head for 1 million subs. I would definitely shave my head if we hit 1 million subscribers. One, I don't think too many people would be interested in that goal. 2, it'd be very dangerous if I shave my head based off the way my hairline is going, the trajectory of said hairline. I can't be guaranteed the hair is coming back. So that's another concern. I don't think, would anybody even be interested in that? Like, what's an idea if we had 1 million subscribers? And this would take like 5, 6, 7 years for us to do that y'all would want. Okay. Pacheco goes 84, Swift 83. I'm actually fine with the DeAndre Swift price point now. Swift was someone earlier in the offseason I thought was so overrated, but sorry, not even earlier in the offseason. Once he first was traded to Philadelphia. But here at this price, if you're getting him at the 7-8 turn, I really like. Mike Tyson face tats. Yeah, we can't do that. Bathtub stream. We'll do that at 155,000 subscribers. Okay. FF Addict says, Flog Fantasy tailgate party at UT. We can do something cool like that, yeah. If we hit like 1 million subscribers, what we can do is if we had 1 million subscribers, I'd have the money to rent out something badass for us. Could rent something massive out. If we had 1 million subscribers, I'm sure a lot of people would want to come as well. I could get us like a freaking suite for the Super Bowl or something and give it away on the live stream. Like, I'm talking something wild. Because the fact is, most likely we never hit 1 million subscribers. So it would have to be something like, okay, can this be crazy? The issue is renting out like a suite Super Bowl. I don't know if we could, how we'd give that away. How much does a suite at a Super Bowl cost? Let me pull this up. Never mind. They start at 200,000 and may cost as much as 2 million. So even if we had 1 million subscribers, we're not getting a suite at the Super Bowl. I walked that one back very, very quick. We get a suite at a Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans Thursday night game. How about that? How about that? And you never know, even if, I guess if Lawrence is going his trajectory, we'll go Tennessee Titans, Houston Texans, Thursday night game suite. All right? That's what we're doing. Okay, so you have Gibson, Flowers, Sutton, Michael Thomas all off the board. We take Rashad Bateman. I've drafted like literally no Rashad Bateman this year. Might as well mix him in a bit, right? Like, who knows if he turns out to be anything? Probably won't, but we need a wide receiver. Highest guy according to ADP. If we get him behind ADP and we've had him like not at all this year, it is what it is. If we had 1 million subscribers, I'm trying to think. We'll probably do something. Like, we'll probably have like some massive meetup at like Super Bowl, and we'll have some big party for sure. Well, what we'll do is we'll have like a big party. And keep in mind, I don't even know if 1 million people play fantasy football, so it's probably never going to happen. This is me dreaming here. We'll have a big party. And we'll have like a bunch of events at said party. So yeah, we're going to take Evan Ingram. Generally, we're kind of looking at James Cook in this range as the pass catcher for Josh Allen, but James Cook went way before we could grab him. Let's move this out. Michael says, rent out a club in Austin and go crazy. Have Trey Lance co-host it with you. Yeah, that's what we'll do, something crazy like that. Is if we had 1 million subs, I could probably pay like an obscure NFL player to be there. You know, obviously Mahomes is not pulling up, but we could probably get like Antonio Gibson there or something. You know what I mean? Mr. Padilla found the dog. Okay, that is great news, my man. That is great news. Okay. Mark Warren says, okay, here it is. Shave the head, draw a face on the back of the head, and do a draft backward. Not the worst idea. What we could do is, y'all know, if we hit 200,000 subscribers, this is a very real possibility. If we hit 200,000 subscribers before this season starts, we're going to do a 24-hour live stream. If we hit 1 million subscribers, like while we're ramping up for the NFL season, like in fantasy football drafts are still going on, we could probably like rent out a massive space and do like a, I don't even know, how do we describe it? We'd either do like a week straight of drafts. I don't know. Possibilities are endless. We'll have years to come up with the idea. Okay. Okay, now Juju Smith-Schuster off the board, pick 111. You have Kamara and Samaje Perine falling a considerable amount here. Y'all know, I mean, I am just completely off on Samaje Perine. It never was on the Perine train. Don't know how people are, but yes, how about this? If we had 1 million subscribers, I will box Antonio Brown. I'm just kidding. I'd get murdered. I'd get murdered. Okay. Now we have Samaje Perine off. If we're looking at quarterbacks that are in play for us, Cousins with Madison and maybe Osborne. I doubt anybody has like a Cousins, Madison, Osborne stack. Daniel Jones, not really. Geno, not really. Okay. Rashad Penny, 114. Dealman on the clock. Took Javonte. Don't know how that's relevant to anything. Cool fact. Drafted Javonte Williams, pick 91. Okay. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Alvin Kamara. Obviously, there's a strong shot he's suspended, but at the same time, it's a $7 buy-in. We're trying to win $60,000, so we're just going for straight upside here. But no freaking way. Check this out. LeBron James in this live stream. Oh my gosh. LeBron, thank you so much for the $5 dono, my friend says. Why is Mike going wide receiver 35 when his worst season was wide receiver 23 and he had Mike Glennon and Josh McCown as his quarterback? That feels like great value no matter what. So before we even get to Mike Evans, all I got to say is, if we hit 1 million subscribers, we are going to the LeBron James LA mansion and we're doing a flock meet up there. All right. I wish I would have known LeBron James was a fan of this live stream. I wish I would have known LeBron James was a fan of this channel before we started trying to figure out what we were going to do. And yeah, so I will see all of y'all at the LeBron James mansion, because LeBron, I'm assuming you're going to tweet out the link of this channel as well as post it on Instagram, and we're going to get to 1 million by the end of the night. But all jokes aside, if we are looking at Mike Evans, I'm not going to lie to you. I think Mike Evans is a great price point. He's going after Treylon Burks. If you look at the projections on Underdog right now, his player prop at receiving yards is 950. Calvin Ridley is at like 855. Calvin Ridley is drafted as like a high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1. So yeah, I mean, I like it, my man. I like it. Okay. Okay. Let's move this over. Okay. Do we just take Myers? We're going to go ahead and take Jacoby Myers. Like, if we had Zach Charbonnet, I'd be fine pairing up Geno Smith with Charbonnet, because we assume that he is going to be the passing down back there. Kenneth Walker, I don't necessarily know how he correlates with Geno Smith, considering the fact that we assume that Kenneth Walker's more so the first and second down running back in that offense. I mean, it is what it is, right? But Derek coming out with the donation, thank you so much, says, hey, Mason, just planned a bachelor party to be in Austin in August. Do you have any fun recommendations? The mothership's booked out already. So the mothership, how they actually do it is they will drop shows. I know they have probably shows already at those dates, like that say sold out, but also check the week that you're coming, because like how I went to see Rogan, how I went to see like Tony Hinchcliffe, like we saw so many people. We saw like Mark Norman. The mothership show was like the best thing I'd ever been to in terms of comedy show wise. And I didn't get my ticket until like they dropped them on like Sunday night, and I went to a show on Tuesday. You know, like they dropped them just a couple days ahead. So still be going to the website and like checking out their social media, and you may still get to go, my friend. But If you are like party people, I'd say go to 6th Street. That's like what everybody does. I'd say like the Bachelor Street, the Bachelorette Street is called Rainy Street. What I like is I like nature stuff. I mean, I don't know what your vibe is. If you want to go hang out in nature, I'd say go to Barton Springs and go swim there. Walk around the trail, Lady Bird Lake. Hit me back up closer to the date and I'll give you some food recommendations, my friend. But after we go Myers, I mean, it's just a flat tier, guys, right? Geno Smith makes it all the way to pick 129. It's a team that had no Seahawks, but I mean, at some point, right, even if you're taking them unstacked, it's just such good value, you kind of have to pull the trigger. Okay. Now, Jared Goff goes 134. And yeah, just in general, if anybody's ever going to Austin, like on a trip, highly recommend trying to find a comedy show. Like, I think at this point, like, we probably have the best comedy shows in the world. And I love comedy. Like, if I'm ever going anywhere, like, keep in mind, I'm not like a drinker or anything. So, like, I don't like just going to a bar and drinking a lot. I like going to pretty much like going to shows and stuff. And comedy shows are just the most fun thing ever. Yeah. Even if you live somewhere like remote, if you've never been to a live comedy show, you need to go. They're so fun. Okay, Jalen Warren off the board, 136. Jared Goff definitely could have been a pick for us when we had Jahmyr Gibbs if Goff would have made it back to us at 140, but clearly he doesn't. So I am talking a bunch of nonsense about nothing. Who did we take at tight end? Evan Ingram. Okay, if we took Evan Ingram at tight end, I think we can get away with only drafting two tight ends. Okay, Rice goes 137. Mike says, who's your favorite comedian, Mason? So I was not expecting this at all because I had watched a special of his on Netflix like years ago and didn't think like the comedy special was funny like over on Netflix. But seeing it in person, his act, Rogan was like unbelievable. And I've seen like pretty much any big comedian you can name off. I don't say any. I've seen a ton of big comedians. And Rogan was so damn good. Like, and I wasn't expecting it either. Like, I think Rogan's set may have been my favorite comedy set ever. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Kincaid, double stack him with Josh Allen here. And once we take Kincaid as well, we're done drafting tight end with Evan Ingram, Dalton Kincaid. So back-to-back Dalton Kincaid drafts. Few Yang says Dave Chappelle. Yeah, Dave Chappelle's going to be in Austin this weekend. I'm going to the Comedy Mothership, I think on Thursday with my girlfriend. And he is not booked to go there, but what's awesome is because all like the super big comedians are friends with Rogan, they will just go and randomly stop there. So we're going on Thursday, and he's going to be in the city. So fingers crossed Chappelle stops by. By no means is it a guarantee. But there's a chance. There's a chance. Now, Condre Miller off the board, 145. Miller would have been interesting to take with Alvin Kamara. I mean, if we got both of them at insane values, essentially saying, yeah, Jamal Williams isn't going to be anything this next year. So at this point, I kind of want to go Mingo because I think if we go Jonathan Mingo and wait on running back, we can get away with drafting 6 RBs with this team. We'll see. I mean, y'all know my two favorite guys at this point, Jonathan Mingo and Dalton Kincaid. It is what it is. If they continue to fall this much, I don't think they're the worst picks in the world. Relevant Roach says Mark Norman, Sam Morrill, Shane Gillis. Check them out. I've seen Gillis twice. I've seen Mark Norman once. Okay, let's move this down. Now, Bigsby off the board at pick 150. Yeah, and real quick, we are 2 likes away from hitting 600 likes on the live stream and firing up another draft after this one. So if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the live stream. And of course, if you want to get in our next draft, we are drafting on Underdog every single day until 2024. We'll be live. And you can find the link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat in the description and the comment section. It is best ball, so there's no time commitment at all during the year. So I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last season. If you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, we get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And these are the states Underdog's available in. If it's a yellow state, you have Underdog in your state. Okay. Now, let's move this over. Gerald Everett goes 153. Good for us. Not good for us to see these running backs go, right? Like, we still need more RBs. One thing I do like about taking Jonathan Mingo is it does put us in play to grab Bryce Young later on. I think we could get away with going like Bryce Young, Josh Allen, and just that being it at quarterback. Okay, Marvin Mims goes 157. Now a bunch of wide receivers are going. But it sucks, like, I can't bring myself to draft Jerome Ford in the 14th round. I know most smart people are doing it. Y'all know I'm not smart. But Ford seems like a very difficult pick. Fu Yang, luckily, was watching the Titanic last night. My favorite movie. Hodgins off the board at 159. Jerome Ford goes 160. Okay, Jordan Love, 161. Simon asking if we're going to get in the Mastiff this year. Possibly. I keep on saying I'm going to email our peeps at Underdog and go like, hey, can I get $1,000 to get in a Mastiff draft? And I keep on forgetting to do it. So we'll see. $1,000 for a draft is a lot. That's 4 $250 drafts. And y'all know I'm going to be drafting a lot of the $250 teams since that's the tournament we won last year. Okay. Now, Dealman on the clock. Go Shaheed. I think we're going to go ahead and take Kenneth Gainwell. And I want to be on record saying our Jonathan Mingo pick was bad. Like, if we're looking at what we could have done, and let me know what you're thinking as well. Please spam the live chat. Would you have rather had Tank Bigsby and Jaden Reed? So Tank Bigsby, Jaden Reed is your first option. Or Jonathan Mingo, Kenneth Gainwell. So I probably would have rather had Tank Bigsby, Jaden Reed. So I think our decision to take Jonathan Mingo there at 149 was bad. Nathan says he'd rather have Tank and Reed. Bigsby and Reed, Mingo and Gainwell, Tank, Gainwell, Tank. Yeah, most people are taking Tank. Okay. Let's move this back around. Tajay Spears goes 170. John Mechie 171. I just have no idea what to do. And also, who the hell is drafting Sam Laporta before ADP? Because I don't know if I've ever seen Laporta go before ADP. Like, he is someone that always falls. Always falls. Like, I would assume his ADP by this point should be in like the 16th round. But Money Logger, welcome to being a flocker, my man. Super, super happy to have you. Fun fact, one of my favorite songs. But yeah, happy to have you, my friend. Smooth this over. Paris Campbell goes. So at this point, what I don't hate the idea of, so in general, when you take Josh Allen, no matter how long you wait for your second QB, you should most likely only draft 2. Like, you stop at 2 quarterbacks. But here, I don't hate the idea of maybe pulling the trigger on the 3rd. The reason being is, like, if Allen were to go down due to an injury this year, say just for, say, 8 weeks during the season or whatever it is, and we take 2 quarterbacks at the very end of this draft, setting ourselves up with the ability to maybe sneak a Josh Allen team to the to the fantasy football playoff tournament, while at the same time not necessarily spending a lot to do so. No. Okay. Money Longer says, love your content. Just got into basketball after being in fantasy for years with friends. Keep it up, my man. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us, my man. Thank you. Simon says, what's the highest stakes draft you've ever done to date? I think the highest stakes draft I've ever done is $500. I could be, please correct me if I'm wrong. If I've ever done a draft that was more than $500, it would have been made into a video and I would have titled it like, this draft cost me $1,000 or something. Like, I would have definitely made content of it, and I definitely would have put it on YouTube. I think our most expensive draft ever was $500, which is funny because we won the Bulldog 2 tournament last year on Underdog, which was that $500 buy-in for $20,000. So McThornberry says, Mason, when are you going to make it out to a Kill Tony show? The issue with Kill Tony is it is sold out forever. Like, it's sold out until like September. And if anybody is watching this and has tickets to a Kill Tony show and wants to invite your boy, I will happily come along as a +1. Has to be before the football season starts, though. But I'll happily come. Okay. Gus Edwards off 185. Obviously, what we're hoping for is Bryce Young to make it to us when we took Jonathan Mingo. Yeah, Duke, I'm going to make an entire video about the winning teams and strategy behind them. I'm just waiting until we get closer to the regular season. That way, like, more like the casual redraft audience comes in. Okay, let's see if we get Bryce Young. Dillman only has 1 tight end, so maybe they decided to pull the trigger on Darren Waller. I mean, they have no Panthers. I'm assuming we're getting Young. Yeah, we're going to take Bryce Young, and I'm actually going to hop into another draft right now. I'll let you know who we get in round 17 and round 18. But let's go ahead and let's get in this bad boy. If I can, God. Okay, let's move this over. We're at pick 1. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this going. Let's get some Justin Jefferson going, and we will be good to go. Good to go. And Solving Donkey says, what's your go-to song when working out? So it depends. Am I just, like, what kind of music am I listening to when I work out? Is it, what's my one song if I'm trying to hit a PR? Different questions there. Let me know. But yeah, let me pull up my phone real quick. That way I just make sure we're not going to auto pick the other one. DNB says $7 poodles all night. Yeah, exactly. I mean, so many people are excited about this tournament. Just in case you haven't seen it, this is what it is. The poodle, $7 buy-in. $300,000 prize pool. $60,000 for first. $30,000 for second. $15,000 for third. $10,000 for fourth. So, yeah, I mean, we are going to be drafting in these as long as it's still live. Until it's filled, I'm just going to be in poodle draft, poodle draft, poodle draft. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take Justin Jefferson off the board to pick 1. I know we're going to shock everybody while doing so. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Margaret Ward says, we haven't done 3 drafts in a night in a long time. We have not. I wish I would have known that we were going to do it, so I could have cooked up some grub, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Chase goes directly after. Tyreek Hill goes off the board at 3. Yes, Jamie, we are going to take Justin Jefferson over Michael Thomas because we're assuming that Michael Thomas makes it back to us at the 2-3 turn. Now, if Michael Thomas does not make it back to us at pick 24, then this could be a devastating mistake. Okay. Let's move this over. We have Chase, Tyreek, CMC, Cup. So, first draft in a while, you've seen Tyreek Hill go off the board at 3. A.J. Brown, pick 9. Stephon Diggs, 8. DNB says, Chase and Cup went over Jefferson in my poodle right now. That's very surprising. John says, sitting at a solid 0% Michael Thomas. Let me see how much Michael Thomas I have. And if y'all don't know, Michael Thomas, it's a joke about Michael Thomas going to pick 6 in the draft we did yesterday. Michael Thomas, I have in 6% of these drafts. So I am underweight on Michael Thomas. Garrett Wilson, Avante Adams go there at the 1-2 turn. I believe we did that when we were at pick 12. Okay. Now, something I need to figure out, and I'd like to know your opinion on this. Do I take the elite level quarterback at the 2-3 turn? Because the primary issue that you have is you're not able to take Fields at the 4-5 turn. Like, do we want to go Jalen Hurts there at 24, or would we rather try to stack DJ Moore, Justin Fields at the 4-5 turn? John says, I've been leading no. I like Ramondre too much. Simon says, only if it's Lance. Yes, no. Only Mahomes or Hurts. Don't take Allen. Yeah, I mean, I'm pushing like 10% Allen at this point, so. Mahomes goes pick 19 to the Kelsey team. Olave falls to 20 for the Cup team. Love that start of Cup and Olave. Higgins goes 21. If we get Smith and Hurts, I'll do a backflip. Let's see. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts with the Justin Jefferson start. Best case scenario here. This is best case scenario through the first 3 rounds. Literally could not be more excited about this. Oh, yeah. I mean, I know we were sitting here. Oh, do we go Justin Fields and DJ Moore at the 4-5? Who cares? If you get Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts here, you take it and run. You take it and run. Let's go. Love it. Love it. Hall goes 27. So the back-to-back drafts where Breece Hall goes a little bit earlier than he usually does. Derrick Henry off the board at 28. Gosh, I am starving. Okay, let's move this out. Diontae just got CMC, Saquon, and Josh Allen. Oh, that's nice. I think in the draft that we had earlier today, maybe it was CMC, Saquon, Jalen Hurts. I didn't do the draft, but we saw someone else get that start, which is exciting. This team at 7 goes Eckler, Barkley, or Madre. Let's go with the hyper-fragile approach there. Oh, and that's Rex. Debo pick 30 is interesting as well. It's going to be a really unique combo going ahead and taking Kelsey, Mahomes, Debo, Samuel. I don't think many people will have those 3 paired up. Okay. Andrews goes 33. Seems like very few teams are able to go ahead and pair up Lamar and Andrews. Just because their ADP is both like closer towards the middle of round 3, you have to get either both of them to fall all the way down to the 3-4 turn or get one of them to fall all the way to the middle of the 4th. Which is just something that pretty much never happens, right? Najee Harris off. So that team there at 12 goes wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, just like we did in our previous draft. I think the first draft of the live stream, we went Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Calvin Ridley, Debo Samuel. Steve says, you're winning this poodle. May as well order DoorDash. What's funny is actually, I cooked some ground turkey. I just needed to make the rice. And we could have been, I was just planning on making the rice and scarfing it down right after this live stream, but I thought I'd be eating now. I have not been eating enough. I need to weigh myself. Keaton says, is Underdog Fantasy worth playing? If you like fantasy football, yes. If you don't like fantasy football, I would say no. Now, Terry McLaurin goes. Now, where we are at a little bit of a disadvantage is this team here at J Mills. They knew for a damn fact, right, that I'm not taking Joe Burrow, so they don't really have to worry. Oh, do I have to take Burrow here to pair up with Jamar Chase? They can still get Joe Burrow on the way back around and pick 50. Chris says, munching on some ground turkey and rice myself. So what I did this time is I've already cooked the turkey and bison. Oh, we're going to take Hopkins and do we go Kirk or do we just reach on Walker? I kind of really like taking Walker here. Okay, what do we have on the way back around? The way back around, we possibly want to be taking wide receiver. So I'm actually going to take Kenneth Walker. Let's pull the trigger. Yeah. It definitely could have been a mistake. Maybe we should have gone with Christian Kirk. I don't know. But yeah, so what I did this time is, and I'm actually probably not going to do rice. I'll probably do whole wheat pasta noodles and make a little pesto thing. So I got ground turkey and I mixed it up with ground bison. I've never tried it before. We'll see how it is. Jeep guy says Goddard incoming. You better believe, yeah, the 6-7 turn, we're going Goddard. But okay. Chef EV says, will you get an Underdog emblem as a face tat when you win? I'm not joking about this. If I were to get a tattoo, I've never had a tattoo before. I've always said I would never get a tattoo. But if I were to get one, first, it would probably be the Flock logo. I think that would be number 1. And number 2 would, if I won like Best Ball Mania, right? If I won like $3 million on Underdog this year, I would probably get an Underdog tattoo. Obviously not on, oh, this is beautiful. I was going to say, obviously not on my face, but Trey Lance says Mason Dodd. More like Mason. Love to see you, my man. Love to see you. Thank you so much for hanging out in these live streams with us every single night. And I'll FaceTime you after this is over. Thank you so much for coming out. But Sumo Bro says, and the lake house. Don't forget the lake house, yeah. Like, because my mind, like Underdog is such a big part of my life at this point. If I were to win $3 million, or honestly, if this year I were to win anything over $1 million on Underdog, it's a good looking logo too. It'd be different if it's like if it was like an ugly logo, but it's like a very aesthetically pleasing logo. I don't know how like the yellow color would look on skin, but I don't know. Now, Rob says just went Cup, Taylor, DK, ETN, Fields at pick 5. That is really exciting, my man. That's really exciting. Duke says you have to get the red shield way colder. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Now, that team at pick 1 goes straight wide receiver at this point, with Wilson, Adams, Keenan, Judy, Hollywood, Pittman. Going straight wide receivers down the road. Generally, I really don't like 6 straight wide receivers. Unless you're getting them at crazy value. Reaching on them is a little bit of a different story, but I mean, hell, when we have Jefferson, Devonta Smith, DeAndre Hopkins, it's not like we're sitting here crying, needing wide receivers to make it back to us. JSN off the board at pick 64. I wonder if wide receivers get moved up in these drafts a bit. You know who's skyrocketed up these draft boards? It's Cam Akers. Let me see how much Cam Akers has risen over the past month. Lockett goes 65. Kittle off. Oh, I would have loved to take George Kittle and then Dallas Goedert back to back. Okay, so from June 10th to July 10th, Cam Akers has gone up only 10 picks. I figured he'd gone up more than that. What about June 1st to July 10th? There, Akers has gone up, 10 picks. Let's go back to May 1st. There, Akers has gone up. Well, McKinnon and Madison have just been a rocket ship. We're going to go Dame Pierce and Dallas Goedert. If we would have known that Trevor Lawrence is going to make it back to us, we probably would have decided to take Christian Kirk over Kenneth Walker. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. Still love the team. I mean, beautiful team here. But Tyler, thank you for the donation, my friend. Thank you. But yeah, if you're going from May 1st to today, Cam Akers, I guess Cam Akers started off high in these drafts, then fell, is now back up. There he's only up 6 picks. I don't know. For whatever reason, I felt like Cam Akers was never going this early. Okay. I think this is one of our more exciting drafts. Y'all know I've talked about this, but in my mind, like, Dameon Pierce at this price point doesn't seem like this should be allowed. Montgomery goes pick 79. Going to be interested to see what that team there at 12 does. It's gone 6 straight wide receivers out the gate. Okay, Montgomery goes. Mark Word says, Michael Pittman or Mike Evans for more fantasy points. I think both passing offenses are probably going to be pretty bad. I think Evans is most likely the wide receiver 2 in his offense. I think Pittman's the unquestioned alpha. I'm going to go Pittman over Evans. If you're looking at the player props on Underdog, they'll tell you that we are dead wrong. There, they have Michael Pittman for about 800 yards, 4 receiving touchdowns, whereas they have Mike Evans, 6 receiving touchdowns to 950 receiving yards. So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of like Pittman there. But Joey coming out with the donation. Thank you so much, my man. I mean, no, just being a member of the flock says 14-team Superflex Dynasty League. Tight end premium, but there's no designated tight end position, only flex. Do I move tight ends up or down? Definitely move tight ends down. If it's only like a 1.5 point per reception tight end format and you don't have to start a tight end, you're still not wanting to flex tight ends. Yeah, so move tight ends down in your 14-team Superflex League. What you're going to want to do is you're just going to load up on those quarterbacks if you can. Okay. Simon says, am I crazy for being super optimistic on Baker? If you get Baker Mayfield round 18 in these drafts, sure, whatever. Go ahead and get excited about Baker. But like to assume Baker's going to be like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL in passing yards or anything along those lines, it is kind of ridiculous. Tyler says, a quarter point per carry, how crazy does running back scoring get? Essentially, every flex spot you want to have a running back in a quarter point per carry. And another thing people aren't going to consider in a quarter point per carry is rushing quarterbacks will also get the bump. So don't forget, like the Justin Fields of the world, that's going to rack up 100 rushing attempts. Okay. Now, Bateman goes 91, Dalvin 92. Who took Lawrence? How far did Lawrence fall? He fell to 76. The team that took Christian Kirk grabbed Lawrence. That's a really exciting team there. Yeah, we need to go ahead and look at this team from Bobby. Metal Vault coming out of the donation says, glad to join in all the fun. 5 Best Ball Mania drafts thus far and having a blast. All the best, Mason. No, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us, my man. Really, really appreciate you. Now, Thomas goes 93. Sutton goes 94. Jay Mills on the clock. This team really just gets their guy, right? I mean, you don't really know what they're going to do. They go Richardson. I think we're going to take James Cook and then maybe Gibson. I don't hate taking Evan Ingram here and be done drafting tight ends. But then later on, we're going to be looking like Dalton Schultz versus Van Jefferson. If that's the case, we'll just grab Jameson. Who cares? If we're just trying to optimize for weeks 15, 16, 17 here, and Jameson Williams is not the worst pick in the world. Obviously, in your like casual redraft league, not really taking Jameson Williams there. It's more so for a format like this. Okay, so Gibson goes 99. Evan Ingram goes off the board, pick 100. Okay. Keaton says, are running backs or wide receivers more valuable in Underdog? I mean, generally in these Underdog drafts, wide receivers are going to be pushed up way higher than your regular fantasy football drafts. Yeah, wide receivers in Underdog drafts are going to be generally pushed up way more than they would be otherwise. Okay. Sky Moore goes pick 103. And it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's not that like having to start 3 wide receivers makes them this much more valuable, or it being best ball makes them this much more valuable. But knowing that like Sky Moore and Zach Charbonnet are going to be drafted back to back, it's like, okay, well, if I don't get my wide receivers early, there are literally no wide receiver values late. It is what it is. Okay, now Dylan goes 105. Sam says, Mason, have you ever played in points per first down? Yes, in dynasty leagues, not in redraft formats. Pretty much any crazy scoring format you can think of, I played in dynasty leagues. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not as obsessed as I once was with dynasty, but like whenever I was, I want to say 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, you would never be able to find someone that was more obsessed with dynasty fantasy football than I was. I mean, hell, I listened to a podcast from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed. I was listening to like 10 a day. I liked it so much, even before I ever thought it could have possibly been a job. I started a dynasty fantasy football YouTube channel and made multiple videos every single day for years. Never thinking in a million years it could have been a job, but everything but IDP, my man. Everything but IDP. Okay, Devon Achane goes off the board there, pick 112. So Cousins didn't play for us when we have Jefferson, right? But I mean, there are going to be a lot of Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins teams. Ram Dog, I'm assuming, is asking this sarcastically, but you know I'll never pass up an opportunity to bring it up again. Promo code to Underdog, my friend, is FLOCK. Not only will that promo code on Underdog get you a 100% deposit match up to $200, but it'll also get you our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com, as well as it's available in damn near every state. You can find that. Find the map here, find the link in the description, comment section, or live chat. But thank you for the alley-oop, my man. Thank you for the alley-oop. Khalil Herbert off the board, 115. Rock Bottom says 800 likes for another draft. Usually, yes. I have plans to meet with Dynasty Trades in 5 after this. So I actually may not even have, with those plans, I never in a million years thought we were going to have this many people come to this live stream. I may not even be able to finish this entire draft out. I'm not even able to get another draft for this. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Okay, Nico Collins, 118. We're going to go Cousins. He's followed 10 picks past ADP. He'll stack him up with Jefferson. Not too much to discuss. We go Dobbs or no, I don't want to go Dobbs here. I kind of want to go Elijah Mitchell. So I go Elijah Mitchell and Kirk Cousins. Now, Brandon says, Mason, pick one NFL player of all time to hang out with for a day. It's going to be the most boring answer you could ever imagine, but it would be Tom Brady. And I wouldn't even want to I wouldn't want him to know that I was there, if that makes sense. I would just want to step into his life and be like a fly on the wall. Hopefully, I can go back to a day of him preparing for a game or whatever, but I would say Tom Brady. Yes, and exactly. I just want to creep on him. Trey Lance asking, not about my man. We hang out pretty much every weekend already. I've never hung out with Brady. I've hung out with Trey Lance a ton. Okay. So let's move this over. Trey Lance says, I just got word from the coach. I'm taking third team reps from now on. Oh, brutal. Brutal, my man. Well, I'll still draft you. Now, Jamal Williams off the board, 129. Jarrett McKinnon goes 124. And let me know in the live chat if you could hang out with one NFL player. Doesn't have to be an NFL player right now. They could be retired. But who would you want to hang out with? Please spam the chat. Randy Moss, Mahomes, Marshawn Lynch, Ray Lewis, Larry Legend, Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown would be pretty fun to hang out with. If you were going to party with anybody, I think Antonio Brown would be my answer. Marshawn, Hernandez, Kelsey, Strahan, Gronk. Actually, no, Gronk is probably the right answer. If you were wanting to party, I'd say Gronk is the correct answer. If you're wanting to witness greatness, I think Brady's the answer. Okay, Mingo goes. Let's swing this back around. Yeah, Ramdog. Underdog is not available in Michigan. I'm sorry. So these are the states that Underdog is available in. Michigan is not one. I'm sorry, my man. It's like one of the 5 states. Okay, Myers off the board, 135. Jay Mills right next to us took 3 quarterbacks. I didn't even notice this. They took Burrow, Richardson, as well as Geno Smith. I'm probably going to take 3 tight ends here, even with this Goddard build. Generally, like, if we go 2 quarterbacks, I like going with the 3rd tight end. If we go 2 tight ends, I like going with the 3rd quarterback. Just because I think the QB as well as tight ends are so damn exciting in terms of, I don't want to say exciting, probably poor choice of words, but the QBs and tight ends are much better than like the running backs and wide receivers in rounds 17, 18. Van Jefferson, 141. Okay. Ram Dog says, can't have nothing in Detroit. Wait until the Lions season this year, my man. We're going to go Dalton Schultz here, as well as Condre Miller. When we go Miller, I still think, I don't know. Interesting spot in where we're at with wide receiver now and possibly how much we need more wide receiver firepower. We have Jefferson, Smith, DeAndre Hopkins, Jamison Williams, wide receiver. Running back, we have Kenneth Walker, Dameon Pierce, James Cook, Elijah Mitchell, Condre Miller. So, yeah, we're probably, we're not drafting a 6th running back. We're done with 5 running backs on this team. Quarterback, we have Jalen Hurts paired up with Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. We have Kirk Cousins paired up with Justin Jefferson. And tight end, we have Goddard and Schultz. We definitely can't take 6 running backs and 3 tight ends. I think we could go with 6 running backs if we only take 2 tight ends. And I think we could go with 3 tight ends if we only take 5 running backs. But regardless, I think this team needs 8 wide receivers. So we'll see. We'll see. But I like the team a lot. I just think that we're put in a little bit of a difficult spot with wide receiver. But I am very sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I have plans to meet with Dynasty Trades in 5 at 8:30. I have not eaten dinner. The last thing I ate was breakfast. I am freaking starving. So I'm probably going to have to end this live stream here. This was our 3rd draft of the live stream. I do have good news for you, though. I will be live tomorrow. I will be live the day after. I'll be live the day after that. I'll be live the day after. I'll be live every single day until 2024. So, of course, make sure you go ahead, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to get in an Underdog draft or check out any of those player props, link in the live chat, link in the description, link in the comment section, promo code FLOCK. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I really do appreciate y'all hanging out with me today. Really sorry that we're bailing here after round 13. And yeah, I really hope that I get to see you out with the live stream tomorrow. It'll probably be a little bit earlier, probably about like 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central.